how this business help people get access to business credit. That's the topic for today's episode, and without further ado, let's dive in. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode at Novarise Invest. For those who are tuning in for the first time, this is your channel for financial education. So today's episode is a very special one because we have a special guest. This person is actually the founder of Fund&Grow. For those who don't know who Fund&Grow is or what they do, they help businesses get access to up to $250,000 in business credit. And today we decided to travel all the way down to Florida and personally interview the founder of Fund&Grow. Before we start, let me remind you to subscribe to the channel and hit the notifications button. And here we are with our special guest, Ari Page from Fund&Grow. Ari, welcome to the channel.
Thank you so much for having me.
And so for those who have been following us for quite some time, we've been partnering with Fund&Grow over the past 3 years. Given the difference in location, we've always been exchanging emails and phone calls, but it is actually very nice to be here in person and, you know, walk around the facilities to see how great things are and the amazing work that you have accomplished. So thank you so much for having us here today and for showing us around.
Absolutely. Well, it's a real pleasure that you came to our location and came and check us out and make sure that we're the real deal.
Yeah, for sure. So now, a lot of people by now are pretty familiar with what Fund&Grow does, but we decided to do this episode just to share a little bit more than just the how-tos, right? And part of this conversation started out because we were wondering, hey, you know, Novarise started off because we were desperate to fix something. And in our conversations, it seems that that was a similar story. Yeah. And so it would be great if you were able to actually share that with everybody and, you know, get them or help them get to know Fund&Grow a little bit more than just, hey, the company that gets us, you know, funding for our deals.
Yeah. Well, Fund&Grow was born similarly, and it was created out of such a huge need for business owners to get access to capital. And what was happening was at the end of 2006, 2007, I'm sure you guys remember, the markets were just crashing. Everything was going down. And at the time, we were doing mortgage loans. And there's particular areas in California. We were sending loan processors to people's houses to do these particular mortgage loans. And what was happening was that as the markets were falling, the loan to value amounts, they were falling. So instead of getting 90% loans, we were getting 80 and then 70. And so we had to come up with stopgap money for these business clients. And so we found that getting business credit cards was easily not only giving them the stopgap money they needed, but even giving them extra money to invest in their companies. And so what we did was we packaged all this together for $1,500 an hour, and we were creating this type of business credit cards, but we were charging $1,500 an hour. And so we had clients that were getting $200,000, $300,000 at the time of this type of funding, but it could take us 20, 25 hours to do that. And so it was getting kind of costly. So we were working with other affiliates in the space, and they were telling us, listen, if you guys could package this down into a process and a program where it was just a simple, easy to do thing where they're in, they're out, they got their funding, and they can spend it on their business, that's what we need. And so that's what we did, was we packaged it all together and we created this simple service, the Fund&Grow service.
Great stuff. So it's all about maximizing your time and creating efficiencies even for your customers as well. I'm sure that $1,500 an hour sounds great, but then when you're working 24/7, that, you know, it comes costly not on the expense side, it's also on your time, and it takes a toll on you because now you're miserable repeating the same thing. But then if you can package something and deliver service to the masses, now you're helping everybody and you're serving everybody just the way you're actually doing now.
And that's what we really wanted to do, is to be able to help more people. You know, at $1,500 an hour and 20 to 25 hours per customer, not a lot of people can afford that.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of small to medium-sized businesses that could, but we wanted to help people get into the business space.
Yeah, there's enough funding and credit around for everybody in this world, and the goal is just to make it affordable so that they can rip the benefits off of it. So you mentioned you started off back in 2008, and then eventually it evolved into what you do now. How was it like at the very beginning? Were you guys like 4 people, 6? And then can you walk us through the whole journey as to how you got to where you are today?
Yeah, so in the beginning, we were just a group of friends, and we had decided to take the mortgage company and to rekey it, retool it, and use it for business credit.
Hmm.
And so at the time, we were three people,
Oh, wow.
and and we were all working from home, and we that's when we had to pioneer and create this process. And so we came up with the different departments, we created the different workflows, and from that we were able to systematize the process to get a lot of people through it, to get them in, to get them out, and to get them funded.
So great, Ari. Thank you for sharing. Wow, growing to how many people you have today? I think over
We're,
60, right?
yeah, we're over 60. I'm not even sure. It's 65, something around that.
There you go. So that's quite a journey. So just like in every business, when you're started, I'm sure you hit a lot of pain points and stuff like that. And a lot of the people who are actually tuning in, they're not only real estate investors, but they're also business owners. They manage their own team. They're looking to grow to the point that you guys have grown as well. So can you share a little bit about what are some of the pain points that you experienced at the time, and then how you overcome them in order to be where you are today?
Absolutely. So at the time, we were 3, 4 members, and within the company, we were obviously only able to serve a very small amount of people, and we were all working from home. And I don't really like the whole work at home thing because people don't have the same type of responsibility at home that they do in the office. And so the first thing we did was we created departments and we created systems. And so the departments, obviously we have to have a location to bring people in. And so bringing true accountability into the process with the employees was the number one way of really helping, because the process itself works. You're in America, you have credit, you're going to get funding. That's the bottom line. Now, whether or not the employees, they're moving forward, they're getting it done as quick as they can, they're churning out the funding, they're doing the negotiations the way they should, that's a whole nother question. And that has to do with HR. And so us getting rid of the work at home environment, creating a standardized office setting that has specific workflows. So each part of the process the client is going through is completely, fully taken care of. So it's not by someone who does all the parts of the process. They only do that one specific part of the process, and they do it really, really well. The negotiators, when they're negotiating on your behalf, they know exactly what the underwriter wants to hear. They're just like knocking it out because they know exactly what they want to hear within the confines of what's honest and true within your business, of course. And so by systematizing all the different processes, by creating an office, we created accountability that has brought us to where we are today. Because really, ultimately, it's about helping people. And so if we're able to help more people, those people are going to talk to other people, and they're going to be like, if you want help, go to them. They can help you. And so the more people we're able to help, and that doesn't mean taking their money, that means getting them credit. The more people we're able to get funding, we're able to get access to credit where they can go and purchase things and buy things for their company and be the driver within their business instead of having some other equity partner being in charge of their business. The more we can put people in charge of their businesses, the more our business would grow. And that's exactly what's happened.
Yes, I completely agree with you. So it's all about getting the experts in the right spot. So that way they can focus on one thing and getting the most out of it. And completely agree with you on the getting access to their equity and their own money and being in charge of their own money. It's your money at the end of the day. It's your credit that you're leveraging. So you should be able to dictate how you want to use it. So Ari, you mentioned something about being more productive being here in the office than having people work from home. And given everything that's been going on with COVID, like how do you maintain such a productive environment? Because people are afraid at the end of the day. So how did you manage to coach them and help them feel safe that it's okay to come to work and be you and do the best that you can being you here?
Yeah, that's a great question. So when COVID first struck, we of course first sent all of our employees to work from home to be able to social distance, and we're here in Florida, so everyone was sent home for a number of months, and unfortunately we did monitor productivity dropping. Clients were getting slightly less access to credit, and not because the banks weren't approving at the time. And so what I've found in general from taking Fund and Grow from when we were very small to where we are today is that an office environment brings the type of collaboration and responsibility and teamwork that people working separately can't do. Now, when I was first launching Fund and Grow, I worked from home. My CFO, Daniel, one of my closest friends, he works from home. There's a whole variety of people that do work from home, and they are extremely productive. You probably work from home to a certain extent, but the thing is, this is not for everyone. When we want to create a process that's going to be rock solid, 100% across the board for every single client, you're not going to be able to do that by having employees that are answering phones and doing, if you will, just the average, the heavy grind, just the normal heavy lifting that comes along with this type of work. Answering phones, emails, correspondence, staying in contact, staying in touch. You're not going to have all that if everyone is working from Starbucks. If you know what I mean? If everyone is living that Panera lifestyle. And so we love that. We do love people being able to do, those types of work at home opportunities, and we fund literally thousands of people that are doing that. But those are the unique people. Those are not the average people. And the average people, they have to work their way up to unique. I've worked many jobs. You maybe have worked jobs, and all those jobs we weren't able to do it from home. Now we can. And so we've worked our way to that. And as a funding entrepreneur, we're helping many businesses work their way to that. But as a business that wants to create a rock solid experience for a client, to bring them in with no funding and to get them hundreds of thousands of dollars of funding, we need to have a very stable environment. And the best way of doing that was by having an office. And so once the coronavirus, last year, once we got past the worst of it, we were able to bring people that didn't have comorbidities back into the office and to work together with everyone in terms of their own personal health, to be able to bring everyone back in. And now we have our whole team back in the office. And of course, if there is anything ever coronavirus related, we take care of that. People, have to go home and isolating and all of that. I don't know all of the different policies of that. Our HR department does a very good job doing that. But it's important that not only when it comes to an employee having a personnel problem or a problem with a client, but if it's a medical situation, they should be able to feel comfortable there as well.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think COVID just struck everybody by surprise, and a lot of businesses were not prepared for it. It seems like you did the best you could to adapt, but at the end of the day, there's nothing like being in the camaraderie. Like, we felt that as soon as we walked in, everybody is very congenial, friendly, and supportive of what you guys do. And sometimes that energy rubs on people. So if your teammate is high spirited and everybody else around you, you convey that to your customers as well. And sometimes we even hear from some of our students, like, I can always hear the smile through the phone, like every time I speak to Fund and Grow with the phone. So that's great. And back to the subject of growth, right? Jason actually was giving us a tour around one of your hallways, and we can see all the different magazines and the funding that you have managed to acquire over the years. Can you just walk us through a little bit about that in terms of number, how much you have grown over the past couple of years?
Absolutely. So yeah, we're very proud and thankful to be on the Inc. 5000 list now. Now is our 6th year in a row. It's the hallway you were talking about. Yeah. And we've generated at this point over $1.1 billion worth of funding. And years and years and years ago, when we first started, we were generating, 50, 100,000 in 1 month. Then it got up to a couple 100,000. Yeah. And last month we generated 19 million in funding for our clients just in 1 month alone. And now we're not bragging here, but we are kind of applying for a job, so to speak. But this 19 million that we're talking about is the funding that we got for clients. We're not talking about money that we made. We're talking about loans that they were able to get. That's $19 million worth of real estate that was able to be purchased, or inventory for a digital e-commerce business, or for a brick and mortar business buying supplies. That's $19 million worth. And right now, with the inflation that's hitting, people need access to as much funding as they can to propel their businesses.
Yes, and I completely agree with you on that. You guys have helped a lot of our followers. It's just amazing. Every message that we get, every picture that we get of the new house that they bought, the before and after, and they were able to do all of that thanks to all the funding that you managed to provide. And not just to real estate investors. We also have students who are business owners. They have a trucking business, they have a dry cleaning business, and they have a barbershop that you managed to help them, not only sustain themselves through hard times such such in COVID, but they've also grown out very, very strong even after that, thanks to the funding that you provided to them. And now they're just, making even more money thanks to what you guys provided.
Well, we love hearing that feedback. When you think about it, hundreds of years ago in America, almost everyone in some sense was a business owner. They were a trader, a farmer, and they were directly representing their own services or their own products. And now, fast forward hundreds of years, 99.9% of everybody works for somebody. And we're on this mission to bring people back to working for themselves, to directly taking their service, their wares to the market on their own. That's how you're going to get compensated the highest.
Great stuff. So thank you so much, Ari, for spending some time with us today. For those who really want to get down to the nitty-gritty and learn about the how-tos, here's a video right here on the screen that you get to check right now so that you can learn about how you can work with Fund and Grow to access all of that funding that you're so looking forward to get in order to, make your next journey and next adventure happen. So that's pretty much all we have to say. Is there anything else you would like to add, Ari, before we say goodbye to them?
I just want to thank you for coming by our office. It's been awesome. It's been a pleasure. And thank everyone for watching this video with us today.
Yeah, likewise. Pleasure is ours. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in, and we'll see you guys soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.